This next episode of When the Boat Comes In is one of my favourites of the series. This is where Jack finally has to fulfil the promise to Sir Horatio Manners. And it is a big one, isn't it? Because he has to shut down this firm that are doing really well, Buell Hodge. And basically it's so that Manners can get a trading estate contract.
Cigar all right?
Perfect. So is the cognac. Now let's have the bill.
I beg your pardon?
I must have got through £1 worth of food and drink, maybe even 30 bob. You don't give that kind of money away for nothing. So what do you want, Sir Horatio?
You know I like doing business with you. Nowadays I spend most of my life dealing with gentlemen, sensitive chaps. I have to be so damn careful not to hurt their feelings, forget what I'm after half the time.
Oh, aye.
Last year we agreed you owed me a favour.
That's right.
I want you to pay it back. Well?
Let's hear what you want.
There's a firm called Buell Hodge Limited.
Mid-Tyne Trading Estate, make car components. Nice little firm.
Nice.
They pay 10% over the minimum, that's nice.
I don't.
You're not nice.
Any more than you are. Want you to slow them down.
You want me to what?
You heard. A week will do it.
Why?
My business forward.
All right, then how?
Any way you like.
Blank check, like.
Blank check.
How much do you want them slowed?
Just enough so they can't fill their contracts.
I see.
I've no doubt you do.
If I slow them, we're all square. You're off me back.
You won't owe me a damn thing.
I better slow them then.
And it's terrible, isn't it? But at the same time, what Jack does is very clever, isn't it? Or rather, he doesn't say he does it. He says that Matt Headley did it. This was all about sending a wireless message to clubmans. These are the people who make the milling machines. And there's a fault with them. So originally, in the series, in this episode rather, he does get them, you know, he gets them closed down for a week. That was all it would take, as Sir Horatio said. And yeah, it's kind of off from Jack Ford to do this, isn't it? But they were in breach of 3 different agreements, I believe. One was about a first aid kit. You couldn't even open it. They didn't have a tea room. They are little things, yeah, and I suppose he would have let it slide if he didn't have this deal with Horatio, although later he does say to him that he would have shut them down anyway.
Mind if I look around?
Help yourself.
Lavatories?
Right at the front.
Where do they heat their tea?
Over there.
First aid equipment?
My office.
Let's have a look then.
Yeah. I've got the key.
Frightened they'll drink the surgical spirit. You do have surgical spirit. How many labourers do my members have? Don't be daft, man. I can always ask Andy Cranford.
3.
I see.
There's 2 away sick.
Sick.
Aye. There's been no accidents here.
I'm glad to hear it, Mr.
Beasley.
Glad to have met you, Mr. Beasley. You've been a great help.
Brilliant the way Manners thinks he's got this deal and Jack's done him a favour, and then he turns around and he says to him, well, actually, I'm closing you down. It doesn't matter how much you put up, you know, the prices for the people who work for you. You're going to be closed down anyway. So it's a really clever episode, and of course Matt Headley has no idea what's going on.
Very pally with Andy Cranford all of a sudden.
He's young and keen, Matt. You could do with a bit of encouragement.
What about the number 5 branch report?
First thing when I get back, Matt, honest.
I'll be in the office then.
Miss Laidlaw.
Shut the door.
Now, I want to send a wireless message, Miss Laidlaw.
Yes, Mr. Ford.
To the United States of America.
The United States?
Now, keep your voice down. Miss Laidlaw,
You like Mr. Headley, don't you?
Oh, yes, Mr. Ford.
Well, I'm working on a little surprise for him to do with his work.
A pleasant surprise, I hope.
When he finds out, he'll be bowled over. Only, I can't explain it to you, but you'll keep it a secret, won't you?
Oh, yes, Mr. Ford.
Good, lass. Now, it's to Harold C. Limbacher.
Oh.
Limbacher, American Federation of Labour.
But how'll I send it?
We'll try the telephone. And if they won't have it, take it to the post office. Now, where was I?
Harold C. Limbacher, American Federation of Labour. Mr. Headley isn't leaving us, is he?
Believe me, Miss Laidlaw, as long as I'm here, Mr. Headley's here with me. Now, look, there's the address in the book. There. See? Now, here's the message. Dear friend and brother, fraternal greetings from the Amalgamated Fitters Union, Galashield,
It's
England.
going to cost a lot of money.
We're not discussing money, Miss Laidlaw. This is the solidarity of the working class.
It's funny with Miss Laidlaw and Matt Headley, isn't it? The way Matt has no idea what's going on about this wireless message. And yeah, I find that all really funny that Jack did this behind his back, but then he gets the credit for it, Matt Headley. I love the bit where he says that I need you, that the union needs you, this will prove it, your job was up for review, and this will keep you in your job. So he's thinking ahead as well, because he knows he isn't going to be at the Fitters Union forever. He wants his best friend, his best marrow, to be safe, protected, with a job. And obviously Matt later on does run the Fitters Union. He's nearly as good as Jack, isn't he? I mean, in terms of heart, spirit, fighting for the cause, Matt Headley, yeah, but in terms of brains, that's Jack Ford, isn't it? I'm not saying Jack didn't care. He did care about people, but he was also very clever with it. Matt can't keep up with it a lot of the time, can he? Because it all goes over his head, because he does things so quickly. He adapts to the situation. Matt finds this hard to deal with. But later on, it's interesting when he runs the Fitters Union, isn't it, Matt? And he's without Jack. And he's got his partner there. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's a Red, isn't he? And Jack is very much on the opposite side of the fence now, isn't he? And that's brilliant later on, isn't it, when he's running the Fitters Union and Jack and Matt have a fight. I mean, such a brilliant series, isn't it? But back to this episode. I love everything about it, really. I mean, this is one of the best episodes, and I love the scene where he's talking to the man who runs Buell Hodge, and Jack saying that whatever made you think the war was over, and that's the name of the episode, of course.
Just honour your agreements, Mr. Buell, and you can be bigger than Henry Ford.
A week then, just give me a week and I'll have the builders in round the clock.
You do that, Mr. Buell, and in a week's time you can have my men back.
Damn it, man, I've got commitments.
Ah, you have. Honour them and we can all go back to work.
Suppose I hired non-union labour.
Scabs? The only men within a 50-mile radius who can work those machines of yours are my members. And you know it. In the army, were you?
Yes, I was. Joined in 1915. I served right to the end.
The end? Mr. Buell, whatever made you think the war is over?
You do feel a bit sorry for him, because if true, and I don't think he's lying, he's saying that some of the men who actually worked at his business were making more money than him, the boss. So he was very fair as a boss. But as it turned out, in the end, it all worked out, didn't it, for the best? And it was just brilliant the way Jack arranged all of that with Clubman's and finding about the fault in the machines, the milling machines, and then giving the credit to Matt Headley. And then, of course, Horatio Manners thinks that Jack's nothing to do with it. It was to do with Matt. And he's like, you better watch out for Mr. Headley. And Jack's like, I'm doing that already. Yeah. So it's just very clever, isn't it? How he plays Manners, how he gets credit, you know, for his best mate. And he helps him out. And I just really love this episode. I think it's got some of the best moments in it.
Well, it's more what I'm going to do for you, really.
Oh, you've done more than enough already. As I say, you don't owe me a thing.
I'm closing you down.
What?
And not your shipyard, just the factory on the trading estate.
Damn it, man, I'm expecting orders.
From Coventry, I doubt it, not when they hear this news.
All right, I'll put something on the basic. Not 10%, that's commercial suicide, but I might manage 5 or even 7.5.
You could offer 100%. I'd still close you down.
Let me give you a word of advice, Ford. Spite and business don't mix.
You mean I should be a good loser like you? You're the worst loser I've ever met, apart from myself.
You want something. Is that it?
What would I want?
Money,
Used £1 notes.
if you like. Or why not an account on a Swiss bank?
For Buell Hodge.
There'll be others.
Maybe, but not this time, Manners.
Oh, there'll be no risk.
That's where you're wrong. You're using Klugman machines out at Wimborne, aren't you?
I believe so.
You know so. You know every damn thing you own.
Very well, I own 23 Klugmans.
Bought second-hand, bankrupt stock as new.
You're remarkably well informed.
I have to be. Those machines aren't safe.
Whose word have I for that, apart from yours?
Klugman's.
Go on.
After a while, say 20 months or 2 years, the safety grill goes off like a bomb.
Klugman's told you this.
The American Federation of Labor sent me their report. Fraternal help, as you might say.
You wrote to them.
Not a letter. A wireless message. You're going to have to get new grills fixed.
It'll take a week at least.
That's what Buell Hodge said and all.
You've boxed me rather neatly, haven't you?
Not me.
Oh, come forward.
Matt Headley.
Your assistant.
That's right.
That must have been something of an embarrassment for you.
I'll survive.
You usually do. Even so, I can see I shall have to keep an eye on Headley.
I'm doing that already. Thanks for the cigar.
Of course, you also have Tom Seaton, the gardener now. He had a very varied career, didn't he? Yeah, thief, miner, sheep stealer, gardener now. Yeah, he's doing Jack's garden now. And Matt isn't happy about this. I mean, this is the only time in the series where Matt gets really out of order. He's had too much to drink, and he has a go at Tom, because it was agreed that Matt would do the garden, but Tom's doing it now. But I love scenes like that in the show, because it's very real, it's very realistic. You do see things like that in real life. It doesn't sort of dance around the fact. Obviously, Matt liked to drink, didn't he? He liked to drop too much, as Jack said, but at the same time, more often than not, his heart was always in it. It wasn't he wasn't abusive very often, but on this occasion he had too many, and he saw Tom at the bar, and he gave him an earful, didn't he? He called him a scab. A scab's a scab. So yeah, I mean, I love the way it does that when the boat comes in. It doesn't dance around real life events that happen. And also, with the gardening, this is where Dolly falls in love with Tommy, Tom's son, and then eventually Tom, as we find out later. Yeah, I mean, this was a big twist in the show, wasn't it? That Tom and Dolly ended up together. Of course, that was after the bonfire. That's the next episode, I believe, when they eventually get together. Yeah, I mean, I suppose they are more suited because Jack is all about getting on. He wants to be the best of the best. He wants to live in a palace, as he promised Jessie all those years ago. Remember when he said about filling the palace with beer for Jessie's mum, Bella. Yeah, so Jack wants to get on. Dolly isn't particularly bothered. She's happy where she is. She doesn't really get all Jack's great ideas. She hasn't got his ambition, that's what it is. Whereas Jack, he wants to get on, he wants to go as high as he can. And Tom, I suppose, is more suited to Dolly. He's a gardener, very level sort of thing. It's not too out of this world, is it, to think they would be together. He's younger, I guess. But it is a terrible thing to do, isn't it, by Tom Seaton? But at the same time, is Jack really that bothered about it? I'm not sure if he is particularly bothered. She didn't have the baby in the end, of course. If she had the baby, back then that probably wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have got together. I think they would have been alright, actually, if they had a baby. I think they would have been alright, but sadly she had the miscarriage. It's just such a great drama, isn't it? So much happens in When the Boat Comes In.
This lot should come in handy for the bonfire.
Bonfire?
Aye, your vicar's organising it. St Thomas's Sunday School treat for the bairns. Bonfire to finish up.
You taking Tommy?
Me? We're chapel. You know that, Jack. I wouldn't mind seeing it go up, though. Hey, what in the world's a parson doing starting a bonfire?
Maybe he wants to act fine for a few chapel goers. Where is it?
Oh, it's that bit spare ground up the road. I got a canny bit stuff there already. Best place to get rid of this lot.
Do you think's best, Tom? You're O.C. the garden. I see you've got your apprentice.
Aye. That missus of yours, she's daft on him.
Ah, he's a canny little fella, all right.
If you think I shouldn't bring him,
None of my business, Tom. Do what you think's best.
I like bringing him. He needs the fresh air. Ever since his mum died of TB, I've been wondering why I suppose it's in him and all.
Then you bring him.
You should be thinking of putting a few croissants in.
Should I?
I know we can let your hands on a few clippings.
You know, or your da knows. You're not the one for doing deals in the Seaton family. Away.
What would I give today just to hear someone softly sing?
Alec Lawson, 3rd Battalion man. He must have heard I got home early. He got that lot of wipers.
Here, Jack, give him the snow.
Save your money, Tom. This'll do for Alec.
I never went to France, Jack. God knows enough people have told us. This is earned money. He's the only one entitled to say whether he wants it or not.
Ah, you're right, bonny lad.